Okay, so hi guys, it's me again. And in this, so we're gonna be doing the live stream again with GT Sporting. Now, as you all may have known, I put out a tweet earlier, uh, this morning or yesterday morning, saying that I finally won first place in daily race group 4. Now, I want to point out something to you, okay? It's not easy to get your sportsmanship ranking up. It's not even easy. It's not as easy to. Well, actually, it's even harder to get your driver rating up. Once your sportsmanship rating is up, you're pretty much um, in the know as far as like clean races is concerned. Um, so that was what we were aiming for. Uh, Anything else actually is like a fine tuning to doing uh, more proactive, professional, competitive racing. Kind of like how Yu-Gi-Oh is. It's like, okay, you got your casual players and then you got your competition players. Well, if you're gonna end up being in the competitive stream, you're gonna have to put in the hours and the work. Now, how long does it take to get the driver rating up? Because as you can see right now, I'm still stuck on D. I'm still stuck on D. So if I back out now, we can see my stats. Okay, so my driver rating is D. Okay, and you can see the little bar at the bottom of D. That's how far up I've progressed. My driver rating. Um, you need to be fast on the lane, be fast in the game, be consistent, have uh, some wins, although it's not necessary to have a win in driver rating. Okay, it's not. It's not that important to be winning. You do have to be like maybe in podium position at least. Be in podium position or at least in the top five as I have read. Um, so podium position, don't have to win. You need to have a steady racing pattern and bonus points if you do end up in pole position. Um, so with that, we're just gonna end up, trying to figure out like how to get my driver rating up because I've heard of people taking as long as a few months to get their driver rating up. Um, Mostly because that these tracks are not really easy. They never are. Okay, and as a person who actually ended up racing for the longest time, I can tell you right now from experience. Tell you right now from experience that uh, tell you from experience that it takes a long time to master a track. It really does. And the thing is that with all like how many tracks have I played for? Let's see, there's about a good amount of tracks. I want to say a little bit over 100 tracks in the lifespan of I want to say maybe ballpark 150 tracks. I raced on in the lifetime of the games that I've actually played. minus the GTA spec. And some tracks work with good, work with certain cars. Other tracks, they don't work with certain cars. Some people can make any car work with any track. Those are the top people. Suffice it to say, we're nowhere anywhere close to that position. Uh, nowhere close to that position. So, with that being said, okay, these tracks are pretty intense. I mean, the concept of racing seems boring, but if you're the racer, it's anything but boring. Uh, it's adrenaline pumping. It's it's the most intense thing that you could ever feel. And this is just from a video game perspective. Okay, this is just from a video game perspective. Imagine how these people feel in real life. Okay, these are actual cars that people actually drive in real life. You have heat, you have humidity, you have weather conditions. You only have one life. This isn't GTA to where you can just hit triangle or A on your controller and just respawn on the track, or just like hit X or B repeatedly to just respawn in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a road. You only have one life, and it's not a video game. In real life, I mean, we're playing a video game, of course, but the thing is that it's super stressful and super tedious, and you always got to keep like an eye out on each little thing that happens. You got to keep an eye out for the opponents that are trying to swipe you. Okay, that happens to a lot of racing sims. Okay, some of these sims like Forza and GT, they have penalty systems for that, um, or some sort of form of punishment. GTA doesn't. Dirt, I don't think it does either. So you can just go full out. Um, but it's intense. This is not the type of game to where it's like you want to have fun. Like you're enjoying it and you're having fun, but it's kind of like you don't want that too much adrenaline to make sure that you're having fun, because you have to concentrate on what you're doing around you. And for some of you who are probably the younger audience, or who don't legally drive yet, um, just make sure that this stuff is not to be messed around with. Sure, you could get your Civics, sure you could get your Challengers, your Chargers, and everything like that, and you could just like horsepower it up, modify it, look pretty, and all this other stuff. But you have no skill behind the wheel. You're gonna lose. Very few instances do you see street drivers actually be successful. Successful race car drivers. Some of the most popular race car drivers actually do become have come from a background of street driving, which is illegal. Um, and even then, that gets intense because the suspension systems, they vary. They vary completely. Uh, Even the NOS, even the turbos, the overhead cams, um, the mufflers, everything is like off limits in street racing. While you have things like Le Mans racing, okay, it's especially in the Nürburgring. That track in of itself is a hellhole of a track. Can you imagine? You can barely keep up with anybody. You keep crashing onto every, an average player on GT Sport can just crash at everything, burn the AI, whatever, on GT Sport or any part of the GT series. Um, but in real life, it's so much more intense, and it's kind of fun and funny that some of the strange things happen in video games, and that's what I like about racing sim games. It takes the um, actual real life experience, it kind of puts a comical relief on it, but still maintains its level of accuracy and real life intuitiveness in case you want to go into something like pro motorsports. Um, so yeah, it's a thing. You never know what you're going to end up getting in the end. Um, and with practice and perseverance and the right attitude and pure concentration, you're going to end up in the top league. But don't do any kind of like, you know, punting or anything of that nature, because that'll get you knocked out of a race. Um, and that's not what you want. Your your driver rating is very important in this game. Very, very important. But I think what's more important is the whole. Yeah, you see all the cars. Yeah, you see all these cars, especially Megumin. But we're gonna see maybe um, with some practice on these tracks, might end up taking on GTA racing again. Um, See if it has any kind of like impact on your ability to race. Now, I know they're not accurate, but think of it this way: GT Sport and GTA Racing are kind of very similar because if you go into the lobbies, you're gonna end up with um, a balance of power. Okay, GTA kind of has that kind of concept, a balance of power. Kind of. So it's an even racing playing field, pretty much. What happens is that you're going to end up having skill. Is there a lot of skill in GTA racing? Not many people realize this, but there is a level of skill in there. How much skill? Depends on where you stand on. Because I don't like the way that the track positioning is in GTA Online. Because the track positioning depends on your internet speed. And so the faster your internet, the further back you are in line. So if you have like 100 kbps, okay, let's just say for example, if you have 100 kbps, you're gonna end up being in 16th place. If you have something like, I don't know, dial-up connection, you're gonna be in pole position. Okay, and that's a mistake really, because you have quick drivers that earn the position to be up in the front. Now, if GTA Online had something like a qualifying run to where some people will be in like the top 10 legitimately and let the other drivers do their own thing, it's it's going to encourage a lot more racers, honestly. Uh, I don't think the open wheel races have that. I don't think. But they should, because it's an indie race. So yeah, we're gonna end up taking out some of these people. Although, if you guys have noticed, I've put my mango monster in a plastic bottle. Oh, and I'm starting in 8th. Good times, good times. Cayman GT4 Club Sport? I'm surprised the Corvette. Some of these people actually qualified higher in the RCZ. Hmm. But I've seen Italia. Yeah, the 458 Italia GR4. I've seen that thing beat an entire lobby by like a good 6 seconds. So it's possible that, you know, you're gonna end up you're gonna end up let's do a little practice run, shall we? Oh yeah, you can see the hood of my car. I mean the roof of my car. Just a little pinch of my car. Oh, he sent him off into the Shadow Realm. I beat the Mustang! Oh, this... I beat the Scarecrow! Oh no, that was the Mustang, right? Yeah, the Mustang had penalties. I didn't even notice that. Hmm. Oh my god. The mere fact that I was able to fend off a Mustang, whew, that was an intense. That Mustang driver did not know what the hell he was up against. Here's the thing. I studied I studied Super GT's driving techniques. I've studied basic Ollie's techniques. I've studied K25's techniques. And I've studied like this other girl. I forgot her name was, but she's on Twitch most of the time. And I found out about her recently. So forgive me for those of you who I can't remember her name. But to fend off like drivers like that, especially aggressive drivers, is something to be heralded. So I learned defensive driving today, and I took that and I applied it to this race because of Mustang. The Mustang has a very, very horrible turning radius. So I took advantage of that. I took advantage of the fact that I knew the Mustang had a horrible, horrible turning radius. The RCZ does have a slight disadvantage to turning radius, but the Sirco kind of is in the same realm as the RCZ, although it's not as bad as the Mustang. The turning radius of the Mustang is horrible, but the turning radius of the Sirco is just underneath that, so it's a little bit better than that of the Mustang. The RCZ has a better turning hoarding raiders, but its acceleration is left to be desired. And its the RCC's top speed is a little bit quicker. But with a track like this, with so many corners, it's up in the air. But preferably speaking, I find the RCZ a lot more controllable than the other one. Okay, so quartering is straight line speed. Uh, I tried the Atenza. It's okay. I tried the GTR. It's better than the Atenza, that's for sure. I tried the Megane, the old school Megane. No, no, never again. I tried the Mustang. It's a little finicky. There's a lot of torque that goes into there. But with the amount of weight that it has on there, it kind of like negates the amount of torque. So there's an option. I don't want to go with a Viper. Viper is too slow around the corners. Its straight line speed is okay, but nothing to write home about. The four-wheel drive cars, they're good at a straight line, but they don't have cornering ability. And I want cornering ability. So cars like the Megane Trophy 11 and the Italia 450, the F-Type was okay. The F-Type was okay. I see people go with a Veyron. Why? I don't know why people go with a Veyron. Because even though its straight line speed is okay, its cornering is horrid. Especially for an all-wheel drive car. If you think GTA's version of the Veyron was supposed to be as fast as this, no, no, it's not. It definitely isn't. I'm okay with mid-engine cars. Front-engine cars, I always have a problem with. The front-wheel rear engine, front-engine rear-wheel drive. I've had problems with them, but not as much as the mid-engine cars. I don't know. I'll just go with that one. I love mid-engine cars. I did the Italia already a few times. Maybe in the next race I'll do the Italia. But until then, probably not. Because my skill isn't that high yet. And when your skill is like when you have like a lot of skill, you could take on the Italian. But that's only for people like who can take on the track pretty well. And in fact, I want to try to check and see the standings for the Italia, because I'm sure the Italia's in there somewhere. But the thing is that the RCZ and the Shiroko, whatever his name, they have quicker lap times. It could go down to like 55 because it's a short track. It could go down to 55 seconds. The other cars usually go around. I pulled off a 57 in an Atenza. Okay, I pulled off a 57 in a Atenza, which is pretty average for the other cars. Because the Atenza has more straight line speed and no cornering. The Italia, I don't know. I think the mid-engine cars, especially the Italia, has a tendency to be faster in corners, but not be in a straight line. But I guess that's okay because the thing is that it's a short track. So I don't know. The Mustang is a heavy boy. I'm not gonna lie about that. The Mustang is a heavy boy. But its straight line speed is pretty awesome. But given my track record with front engine rear wheel drive cars, no. The so sporting all these like Japanese anime liveries, some of these people I want to give a shout out to, but I don't speak Japanese and I don't know how to read Japanese. So, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so they qualified as the RCZ or whatever, but they're trying different cars. See, the Italia Grade 4? I tried my hand at the F-Type. It's a very stable car, to say the least. Wait, is that the, that's not the Italia, that looks like a... Huh. That looked like a freaking 911. Oh, I'm in 8th place, I'm way back in the back. So long, Kimosabi. I'm up there with Mexico. Mexico and US. Woo! Ooh. Look at that. The other. Oh my God! That guy racked up a bunch of penalties. Literally 9 seconds behind. I gained 5 positions. No problems. I'm in third place. I'm happy with third place. Now, Group 3 cars. I don't. What's the, what do you got? The Peugeot VGT. The McLaren Peugeot VGT. So, Peugeot Vision Gran Turismo. And the McLaren F1 GTR BMW 1995. I find the McLaren a little bit unstable. The Peugeot seems to be more stable for me, but I don't know. Let's watch the replay of this one. See how the McLaren did. Let's try this one. It's got better quartering speed. Let's go with the... Change my livery. I know I said I was not gonna go for anything Hololive, but Callie is actually part of Hololive. And I love Callie. So I have no choice but to put 2%. That's Snoopy. I love Snoopy. As much as I want to see a picture of that dead alien from the 70s or the 40s, whatever it is. Speaking of the 40s and stuff like that, you all guys know about the Mustachio del genocide, right? Mustachio del genocide. Well, did you know that there's a castle that the Germans back then actually ended up occupying? Now, I don't know if it was already built there or not, but it's called Castle Hutska. Now, for those of you who, that's the Evangelion reboot, isn't it? So for those of you who don't know what Castle Hutska is, I think is in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Germany. And it's just like this big castle on a hill, I think. If I remember that correctly. This big castle on the hill. And it was used by scientists. Hitler's own regime, right? During Hitler's time. Okay. So what they did was that they ended up using that as a place for experimentation, and one of the experiments was there was a hole in the concrete brick floor. I think it was concrete brick floor. What was it? It was underneath the floor, down underneath the hill. So what they did was that they thought it was like this weird ass time portal thing, and then they were using it as science for time distortion, time dilation, whatever it was. Some pretty strange shit. So what they did was that they ended up, oh my god, So what they did was that they put people down in this hole, and the guy, the person that they actually ended up putting down in the hole, they say about roughly about 5-10 minutes later, the person would scream. So they pulled him up, and they were horrified to see what they saw, that the man aged several decades down in that hole. So yeah, that was a horrifying experience. Um, but the thing about Castle Huska is that it's a very famous haunted castle. It's up there in one of the most top 10 haunted places on Earth, um, or at least the top 100 haunted places on Earth. Um, Japan, I think, is still like the worst, and I think who was it? Oh, that radioactive plant that had a meltdown. I forgot what its name was. So that's a haunted area. Oh, there's another haunted area. Japan is filled with haunted areas uh, from the time of the Hiroshima bombing. Um, but this was kind of a special case because it's haunted by actual demonic spirits at Castle Huska. Um, Several paranormal teams have already been over there, and they've experienced like scratches, burns, um, noises, cold spots, physical manipulations. Uh, Voices, like, yeah, there was voices in there. There was also growling and flapping of wings. Now, the funny thing about it is that with the flapping of the wings, it was during the daytime. I think was it the day? It was like during the nighttime. And there are no birds in that area during that time. Literally, there's no birds, so to speak. No, 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 no. What I remember was is that there was a huge. Yeah, I'm getting confused with another story. So there was a huge flock of birds outside of the building, um, and they all freaked out. Like legitimately, they all freaked out. Um, but the thing is that they all freaked out to what? Okay, there's no animals outside that would actually legitimately like disturb a flock of birds that huge in the middle of the forest, next to an old haunted castle. Um, so yeah, you guys tell me that it's bizarre. It's like one of those crazy bizarre places. On Earth, and it's one of the few places that I want to actually uh, get to see and get to experience before I pass on into the other life. Because let's face it, as much as I want to see like paranormal activity and the Grudge movies, um, I know that. I just can't see the guy. But I want to be legitimately scared out of my wits. And it's not just the fact that I want to be scared out of my wits, it's just that I want to be able to experience some of the paranormal activity that's out there. Especially Japan. Japan is got it worse. You got Japan, you got Russia, you got Germany, uh, the insane asylums, the oldest insane asylums. It's not Rhode Island. There's a very famous insane asylum. Um, I just saw something. Okay, so I forgot what it is. At the top of my head, I can't remember right now. But there's also that famous uh, prison where Al Capone went to. That island prison. That one's haunted. Um, although it's not really as haunted as, you know, uh, people might think. It's really it's haunted, but it's not really, you know, over the top haunted. If you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I want to go ahead and enjoy that prison. Um, there's a couple of other prisons. I think it's in Tijuana. Um, I think there's a prison in Tijuana that's like completely haunted, uh, to the brink. There's a few places in the Middle East. Uh, there is, uh, I think the Philippines, somewhere in the Philippines. Uh, ooh. These, what is it called? The Death Forest. That's what I want to, the that forest that Jake Paul went into. It's famous for, its hauntings and stuff like that. Uh, I want to go there. Uh, uh, a few other. Oh, the island of dolls. Somewhere in Mexico. So, in case you don't know what the island of dolls is, apparently there was like this crazy guy who ended up. I like Star Wars. So there was this crazy guy, or was it a crazy woman? It was a crazy person. Okay. They collected baby dolls, like those dolls that you get from like the Cabbage Patch Kids, and like the dolls that little girls used to play with when they're younger. So she would end up getting those, or he would end up getting. No, it was a sheep. It was a sheep. So she would end up getting those, and she would plant them or hang them up on the trees. And I forget why she did that in the first place. Um, but she died there on the island, and the dolls, they would literally like move on their own. They would talk. They would stare at you. Their eyes would move. Their heads would move. You would hear voices on the island. Uh, a few times I've heard of like poltergeist kind of like situations happen on that island. Um, although it wasn't like a full blown poltergeist like you see like on some places like on TV. And by the way, poltergeists are real. Okay, I'm not gonna lie about that. Poltergeists are real. Um, some of you may not, believe that, but I've seen some pretty crazy paranormal activities. Here in town, there's this place in like a secluded area where there's like three houses. Okay, three houses together. It's like in a museum district. Um, and I went there at night and I took some photographs. And like there was these little orbs just floating around. Okay. Uh, for those of you who don't know, orbs are like spirits. Okay, but you don't see them. And sometimes, depending on like the camera you have and the like the filter you have, it might end up being like the uh, the flash or like the glare of the camera and the light. So there is a way you can distinguish them both. If it's a more solid line, more solid circle around, it's gonna be a spirit. If it's like a little bit blurred around, it's the light bulb. So I was over there doing some like paranormal hunting in that district, and I looked into the window of one of the buildings, and I saw a figure just staring at me. Literally, just staring at me. I could see its eyes. Literally, I could see its eyes. Um, they weren't dark. They had like a bluish yellow hue to them. Yeah, it was that they weren't glowing, but you could tell that there were eyes there, and they were like a bluish yellow hue, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, that really freaked me out a little bit, and then I ended up running away like a scared kitten. uh, Running away like a scared kitten to the car. But as soon as and that was on the building to the left, I think. No, it was the building to the right. It was the building to the right. So I fled to the car, and I looked directly at the building that's in the center of these two buildings, and I noticed that the curtain at the top of the building, the basement, I mean the um, the attic area had like a window at the top, and I noticed the curtains moving there. And in about 5-10 seconds, a manifestation of I guess what you could say, like a late teens, early 20s, dark figurine um, came into view. And I could literally see that, like, at least half of each curtain was gone. Like, it was all blacked out. I mean, like, it, you could tell, like, it was a white curtain. Okay, it was full light. And then all of a sudden, like, half of each curtain turned black. And I could literally see the outline of the woman. Literally. I did not have my camera aimed at that. Okay, I did not have my camera aimed at that because when I saw it, I kind of like put my camera down and I had my eyes all bugged out, and I was like literally freaking out that a figurine was literally staring at me or the people downstairs because I was hanging around with a few people at the time. Is that who I think it is? So, yeah, needless to say, I had a very, 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 very interesting experience with paranormal activity. Um, but here's the thing: I want to go visit a graveyard in the middle of the night. Now, for those of you who think that visiting a graveyard is crazy, it's really not. You got to keep in mind that you got to respect the spirits over there. Okay, anybody could go and visit the spirits of the afterlife over there, but um, I'll do a zero lane. But here's the thing: um, you gotta make sure number one, you don't desecrate the graves. Okay. Number two, you gotta make sure you don't do anything that might end up upsetting the spirits over there. Um, because they will attack you. Okay, there's some um, very, very, very powerful spirits in a graveyard that act like guardians, and they will attack you. I've heard of stories like that before, um, and I've seen pictures of the spirits that come after these people, um, photographers, but they don't do it just like attack you maliciously. They just most of the time they will attack you as a deterrent, but they won't physically touch you. There's been some instances where people were dumb enough to do stupid things in a graveyard that the spirits would literally attack them. So any of you who do paranormal activity, I urge you, don't desecrate the graveyard, okay? Because sometimes, depending on who's there or what spirit is there, could follow you home, open up a gateway, and haunt you in your home with another spirit inside that home. Because remember, it is a theory, okay? But it's becoming a proven theory that mirrors are a portal to the spirit realm. But not anybody could just like, look in the mirror and expect like a spirit to come through. No, no, no. Certain things have to happen. Um, and sometimes your house might be haunted with a spirit, and it will use the mirrors as a gateway to go in and out. Typically, it's like the bathroom, uh, because it always has a mirror in there. Uh, but sometimes, people bring their own mirrors, and these spirits would actually end up opening up, get their own gateways with that mirror. Um, so that's a thing. Um, and sometimes, if you bring like home a like demonic spirit because you desecrated a grave, chances are that that guardian spirit is going to open up a negative gateway in the mirror and have a demonic spirit. And I'm a rank C. I just now noticed I'm a rank C. You guys see that? I'm a rank C driver. When did that happen? The last race? Guys, look how much my driver rating went up on the C. And that was from the last race? Are you telling me a podium finish increases my driver rating? That defensive driving against the Mustang. That's what set my driver rating up that high. Because I was able to keep my position of third place for the longest time. Oh my god. What was it? Fourth place. It was fourth place against that Mustang. Um, oh my god. That's impressive. But yeah, don't disturb the graveyards. That's the thing I've always wanted to preach. Don't disturb the graveyards. If you're gonna disturb something, disturb an insane sound. Now, there have been instances where people have gotten possessed legitimately because they went a little bit too far in there, and they didn't know what they were doing, and they got possessed by the spirit, and stuff happens, and then you have to get an exorcist. If your spirit is strong, you can pretty much fight it off on your own. You can really fight it off on your own. Um, but if it's like weak, then you're gonna get possessed, and then you're gonna turn out to be a different type of person. Um, it's happened before, but that's a very rare occasion. Okay, that's a very rare occasion to where there's demonic possession. Uh, because usually that happens with really, really stupid people. Really stupid people. Uh, who really do stupid things to to whatever they just disturbed. Oh, there's a citron. Let's try the citron. You know what? Let's do that. So, hauntings are great. Although, there have been places where people like live with spirits and they're like friendly spirits in their own home, and they tend to be beneficial. Um, it's very beneficial. It's a mid-engine, right? Mid-engine rear. Okay, so don't get down to 2. Try to get it down to 3. So I'm about 8 seconds off the pace. 204 to 156, yeah, I'm about 8 seconds off the pace. small break. Oh my god. Any idea how many? It's not easy to avoid the walls. Seriously, it isn't. Microphone is like in my way a little bit. Ugh. My head. Ugh. I take a small break. Gotta stretch out my legs because I'm not gonna have like blood clots like people do when they travel on the plane of like 24 hours in the air. No. Okay, so we're just gonna take this lap time as it is. So it seems to be that I've noticed one thing. I don't necessarily improve all that much when I'm going solo. Okay, so I'm at 204,597. Okay, so that's about roughly 8 seconds behind the bat. Now, some people improve solo with the lap times, which is granted the best way to actually get the higher positions. But we're not gonna go there. We are simply going to go into a grade 3 race. Now, here's the thing. It seems to be that this car and this car 24, 25, 694, 690. That's 2315. That's about a full 90 pounds lighter. I find myself driving this a little bit better, although I thought the Pojo's a little bit oversteery. So let's go something with a little bit more understeer. I know the McLaren has got a tad bit of understeer, even though the car's like lighter. I find that it's still got a little bit of understeer. And it's very good at a straight line. The Pojo really isn't. I tried to take both cars at the same time, and it's kind of neck and neck, to be quite honest. But the McLaren's there, so might as well. Let's see how much of a difference the McLaren is compared to the Peugeot. See if I can handle the McLaren on this track. I could go for qualifying time trial, but I'm not going to. Water? Energy drink. Water? Energy drink. I like tropical, okay? Thank you. Not too tropical. There's a limit to my tropical. Wow, I'm down in 18th place. Wow, I really do suck. Look at these. 159s, 158s, 157s. Well, I'm just gonna try my luck. Why not? They say the best way to learn is to get yourself into a Shark Tank. Or something of that nature. Oh. Okay, so I need traction control off. Brake balance. Let's mingle with the brake balance, shall we? What? Oh, we got a lot of drivers in here that have been competing against each other for quite a long time. Yeah, definitely it's got a little bit of understeer. Even though I put the brake balance in the back, it's got a little bit of understeer. Naturally, which is kind of a good thing. But you can't see me because I'm all the way in the freaking back. This is okay because we've seen Super GT pull off some crazy stuff with the back. So, I don't know. It could go either way. Give me that slipstream, wee! Oh, the slipstream is real! Oh dear God, the slipstream is real. Come on, somebody bump draft me. 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 I'm gonna go defensive. I'm gonna go defensive. Thank you. think I made a discovery. At this point in time, we're just intentionally hitting the wall. Let's just say I suck at daily race C. Mm. Oh my god. I am nowhere in the league of these guys. 158? I can't do that. I'm gonna have to spend hours and hours on this track before I can even get to 158. Ay, 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 ay. uh, like, what's the BOP card? Now, I'm not gonna learn this track like anytime soon because it took me about a few days to do this track. Like I would say like 3 or 4 days for me to get used to this track. It's gonna take the same amount for this one, and I don't have 3 or 4 days left over. Um, the this track will change in Monday. Everything will change Monday. So yeah, that's disheartening. As cringy as it may seem, that I hate myself for like losing this race. I wasn't anticipating winning this race anyways. It's like whatever. This is like the first time I've driven on this track on this in this grade. So for me to master it within like a couple of hours, or like maybe even, was it like 45 minutes? Yeah, that's not happening. No way in hell could you actually learn these tracks in 45 minutes. No way in hell. Um, it takes anywhere from like, I've heard of people just like getting better after about a week on these tracks and pulling off these times after about a week or two. So yeah, these tracks are no joke. These tracks are no joke, and I pulled off like a. I didn't start pulling off a 50. Was it 56 off of this track until yesterday? Okay, I was pulling off like maybe 57s and a few 58s on this track, and that took me what, 3 days. And just yesterday, I pulled off a victory, and I got my time down to around 56.4, I think. 56.4. So I'm getting better on this course. Okay. So that just goes to show you that these it doesn't, no. um Even in like real motorsport, uh some of these like IRL motorsport professionals, they spend months, literally months on a track practicing, months in advance. So they get like a event schedule. From what I understand, they get like an event schedule, and they have to like get their times into a perfect run, so that when they go into like qualifying, it's like about a week or two before the event, and set qualifying, and then they do more practice during that time uh, on the track with their sponsors and stuff like that. So they do that, and they're still running the track because they cannot give up that muscle memory. That's the thing. You can't give up on that muscle memory. And even though you're doing the practice and you're doing like lousy lap times, and maybe you end up having a lousy qualifying time, but there's rare instances where even though you have the lousy qualifying time, you still get in the podium position, which is nuts because the amount of time and the amount of practice that you put into racing it on a track. So, yeah, that's intense. So, if a driver in real life cannot master a track in 45 minutes, do you think I'm going to end up mastering the track in 45 minutes in a game? No, certainly not. I'd like to see you try though. I mean, there's people probably who could do it, but most of the time, people like me, no. I mean, look at Super GT and Basic Ollie. Okay, even Emery. Okay, they spend weeks, days, weeks on the same track just practicing it. And you think they could pull off some of the times that you see on the top 10 All Stars? Just like a couple days, couple hours, maybe? No, weeks. uh, but it's okay. You know what? It's all. I'm not salty about it because the thing is that I know I could improve. Bar none, I can improve. Okay, will I make it to the top 10 stars eventually? Maybe. Okay, maybe. Um, but that's gonna take a little bit. That's gonna take maybe about a good minimum 6 months. Minimum 6 months. And that's if I like practice every single track. every single trek on the game and in online. Okay, that's every single trek. 6 months minimum. It's all good fun. Oh my god, I've been on this thing for 3 hours. Ooh. That's cool. Oh, so what am I gonna do? Okay, so is there anybody I can bug right now? No, but I'm watching a person making coffee with donuts. They're making coffee with donuts as an ingredient. Um. Okay. Ah! Oh my god, I never got the notification for that one. Apparently, PS5 was in restock today on Amazon, and that was about, what, 16 hours? Yeah, 16 hours. Oh my god. Okay, so we know that larger retail chains are not gonna have. Okay, so 12 p.m. Eastern time. That's what, 10 p.m. for 10 p.m. for me. So tonight, it's like 10 p.m. 11, 10 or 11. I forget which one. Friday, March 26th. Well, we know and don't let. Oh god, those stupid bots. Okay. Uh. Okay, so Target has them. Target has the PS5s in their shelves, but they only go to the customers that order them online. That's the thing about Target. They do it based on the orders that they get online, which is a little bit hard for scalpers, really. Um, so yeah, Target is like my go-to store because I have a Target like maybe about less than a quarter of a mile away from here, so I could just like pick it up right away. Walmart does online shipping. Sony Direct does online shipping, but their security is a little bit better than Walmart's. I know Best Buy is better than Walmart's. Definitely better than Walmart. Amazon. Ugh. Nobody knows the schedule for Amazon. That's the thing. I think scalpers would have a hard time with Amazon because they're so random. So random. And the summer vacation is coming up, so they're gonna end up having to stockpile at some point in time. We know GameStop is not gonna have it. So, see ya, GameStop. My parents have a Sam's Club thing. I don't have a Sam's Club account, so I can use theirs. Oh, screw it. I'm not gonna. So Target and Target, Sony, and I have to do it that way. Can't believe I missed it. Okay. Oh my god! What kind of controller is that? If this controller actually exists, wow. I love it when they just like do some crazy shiz with their It's a shame, really. Oh well, whatever. Um, with that being said, guys, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take off. It's been 3 hours. Yeah, I'm getting bored. Um, so yeah, that's the end of the stream. 3 hours is good enough. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little bit of research because I got another video planned for 2 weeks from now. Uh, but the thing about it is that the research is so hard on this country. I think we all I think some of you may notice like what country I'm talking about. It's Russia. Russia. Oh. So yeah. With that being said, guys, Rekvies Good and Bache.